Frank Drebin, he's a very committed police inspector, but he's bumbling. He's not stupid, but he has a naivete to him. Finds himself in situations and kind of does the wrong thing, but with the right attitude. And it lands him in lots of precarious situations that he has to, hopefully in a funny way, find a way out of,
When you go back to the original, Police Squad or Naked Gun, even the Leslie Nielsen film Airplane, people then associate Leslie Nielsen as having been a comedic actor, but he started off in drama. And it was that sort of straight-laced, dramatic delivery that made him so perfect for those original films and the ones that came after. So we really, I think, had that same style in mind and thought, who better than Liam Neeson, who we've all come to fear and respect as these authority figures and mercenaries on screen. But he also has a fatherly, endearing quality to him. So I really think Liam ended up being the perfect person to take over the threads and absurdities of Frank Drebin.
The Naked Gun is about the son of Frank Drebin, who's thrust into a murder mystery about Pam's dead brother and a billionaire tech giant.
I like Frank Drebin a lot because he's also shares somewhat of the same sensibilities as I do. There's a real delight in my meeting him. He's also kind of like an old-fashioned guy, and sees the world having changed and believes more in an old-fashioned approach. And in that, he really is a sort of a kindred spirit.
Me and Dan and Doug have been thinking about are we going to try a montage? There's a famous montage from the first Naked Gun that is very enjoyable. And in this one, we were like, man, how do we do a montage that feels completely different from that? And there's been so many montages in so many movies doing kind of 80s love montages. So it's very well-worn territory. And I was trying to think of a fresh approach. And for whatever reason, at 4 a.m, I woke up and I was laying in bed and I went, and it came to me and I literally just wrote beat for beat the bullet points into my phone's notes app. And it's almost identical to what is in the movie. It barely got changed from a notes bullet point to final thing.
Stig Gustafsson is basically the henchman for Mr. Kane. He's kind of his go-to man. I run security for everything that has to do with the planet Kane. He's an efficient henchman. At least he tries to be.
Why did I want to be part of this comedy? Well, Seth MacFarlane, who's an old pal, called me up a couple of years ago and dangled the idea of me doing this reboot of this character. And I said I was interested. It's as simple as that.
Frank Jr. and Ed Jr. really love each other. They are like brothers or uncle and nephew, mentor-mentee. And in this story, they get tangled up in yet another mess, not unlike what their fathers had to combat in the original films. And I like to think that that friendship is tested and stretched, and in the end, you see that these two guys, no matter what the case is, no matter what turns it's taking, they're always going to have each other's backs. I like to think that Ed respects Frank so much that he's never trying to make him feel lowly or bad for screwing something up or misinterpreting something. He loves him too much to really reveal that.
It's an incredible franchise. I mean, Leslie Nielsen is a comedy legend who characters that I studied him. So it came from the source himself. There's guns, there's puns, there's double entendres, there's double the fun, there's giggles. As Liam says,
yeah, a lot of giggles.
Leslie Nielsen set the tone for that time, and we're bringing it back because who doesn't love a good dose of nostalgia?
The basic plot line is one that belongs to most film noir. It's a detective who is uncovering a crime that has happened. There is a femme fatale played beautifully by Pamela Anderson. The detective played by Liam Neeson, as I'm sure you're aware, and it is a plot basically having to uncover what the crime is. It's quite evident that I'm suspicious in this situation. That's not a surprise, and it's set up early.
Well, Liam, I think, understood the assignment, and that's why he was excited to do it, and that's why I'm sure why Seth, a couple years before I came on, in one of his conversations with Liam was like, "Oh my God," and he realized like you'd be perfect to do it. Liam's one of the few remaining true like old school movie star leading men with gravitas. And there was nobody underneath him in the list. There was no second choice to even be had because there's kind of nobody like him out there.
Pamela Anderson as Beth is pretty genius casting. I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with her, but immediately what you get from Pamela is just she has this extreme sincerity and this sweetness and innocence, and she's very, very funny. And I think people are going to be really, really happy with and blown away by what she's doing. The other day she was doing this one scene and we were all just standing in pee puddles because she was so funny and so committed, and yeah, she's really terrific.
Our film has, I would say, the same tone as the originals. Hopefully a lot of giggles for the audience, some funny stuff, situations that the characters find themselves in. Yeah, a lot of giggles.
Ed is the kind of guy who really takes his job seriously, and at the same time he is forced with sort of dealing with the fumbles and the stumbles of his partner, his senior partner, that being Liam Neeson in the role of Frank Drebin Jr.
I've watched him for years, so to work with him as a director was a totally different capacity, myself as the performer, right? He gave some really great direction that I didn't anticipate being so clear and so wonderful, because he as a performer understands what a performer needs to hear in order to perform. But he told me, hey, you are acting as though this is a comedy. And I said, you're welcome. But then he said, no, I need you to play it as a drama. The comedy's going on behind you in the background, but I need you to give still, stoic, subtle drama. So I did. And that was just clear and concise.
So I got the call saying, how would you like to be involved with a new Naked Gun, which immediately I thought, no, I don't at all, because the first Naked Gun is a perfect movie. Then they said, how would you like to do a new Naked Gun with Liam Neeson? And that kind of opened my mind to the possibilities of how it could be a new thing, how it could exist alongside the old Naked Gun and honor the old Naked Gun and take the spirit of the old Naked Gun, but maybe be a new movie. And so I tried to take kind of the spirit of their style of comedy and their style of jokes, and specifically that they would cast dramatic actors and place them into a genre and be really true to the genre. All the things that kind of were the hallmarks of what they did, I try to keep that intact while acknowledging that 35 years of action movies and police procedurals have happened since they made the old ones, and that Liam Neeson is not Leslie Nielsen. He is his own individual actor person. He does have a specific set of traits and talents that are not a particular set of skills that are just as exciting.
Do I think this honors the originals? Yes, I think it does. It certainly does not insult them. And it is called Naked Gun.
We all know this crime genre where cops are taking themselves seriously and crying in the rain and firing their gun in the air at a gravesite. Like, there's that sort of melodramatic steroidal intensity that we're obviously doing a send-up of and having fun with. And, you know, I think we're due for one of these movies. Naked Gun is something we need right now. We need to laugh. We need to laugh at something that's trying to take itself too seriously and is being overly intense. And we need more Liam Neeson. That's just my take on the matter.
We haven't seen Liam Neeson do much comedy, but what we do know is that he has a particular set of skills that he's developed over a long career. He was absolutely heaven-sent little angel. I adore Liam. He's the cutest, sweetest man on the planet. And when you're that dramatic and that terrifying of a stature, you have to be a really nice person, and he is.
How would I describe Liam and Pam's chemistry? Electric. Hot. Steamy. They just jumped into the deep end. I can't say that because there weren't rehearsals and things like that. So it was really just as soon as they started doing their sexy, kind of double indemnity style dialogue to each other that it was like, oh, yeah, it's all there.
I think it's important we as human beings, as groups, sit together and see entertainment, i.e. movies, cinema, in theaters. It's a thrilling experience. It is, especially when it's a comedy, to sit together with a bunch of strangers and laugh at the same stuff, giggle at the same stuff. I think it's very important for our souls.
You deserve to go see The Naked Gun in theaters where it was destined to be enjoyed. You deserve to enjoy it at max capacity, laughing as loud as you possibly can with community. I mean, we all know laughter is medicine. So go, heal yourselves and watch The Naked Gun.